Hello and welcome to 6.2, which deals with multiplication properties of exponents. We love properties of exponents, don't we? So let's get into it. So first of all, what is an exponent? So you have a number that's raised to the power of something else, that's an exponent. So what does exponentiation mean? It just means, it's like, you know how multiplication is repeated addition? Well, when you exponentiate, that basically is repeated multiplication. Okay, so the parts of an exponent, or parts of a term, that has an exponent. So this would be considered the base, okay? And the base is raised to some value. The little tiny value, the little tiny number, is called an exponent. So what that means is, let's say, for example, you have 3 squared. That just means, hey, take 3 and multiply by itself twice, right? So 3 times 3, which is 9. So 3 squared would be 9. If you have 4 cubed, the base is 4. The exponent is 3. So what that means is you're going to take 4 and multiply it by itself, right? So 3 times. So that would be what? So 64. And then let's say here's an example, negative 9 to the 5th power. That means you take negative 9 and multiply by itself 5 times. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some problems. So for the first one, we have 4 cubed. So that would be 4 times 4 times 4, right? Which we said before, that's 64. So A is 64. B is just to the first power. So that's just the same as 7, right? You don't multiply by anything. It's just itself. It only occurs once. Sorry. And then if you have 5, 6 squared, that means take 5, 6 and multiply it by itself, twice. So you multiply it by itself, which will be 25 over 36. And then for 0.63 squared, that's just going to be 63 hundredths times 63 hundredths. And then that's just going to be, that's equal to 0.3969. Okay, so for this side, we have here, I'll do a different color, negative 5 to the 4th power. That just means negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5 times negative 5, right? So if you do that, negative 5 to the power 4, you'll get 625 positive, okay? But what about for B? You have the negative, or the opposite of 5 to the 4th. So what does that mean? That's the opposite of, 5 times 5 times 5 times 5, just to put it in parentheses so that it's more clear. So then that's going to be negative 625. So notice they're two different things, okay? Okay, so what's the product property for exponents? So if you have 2 numbers that are the same base and you multiply them together, you would add the exponents. Okay, so let's say, for example, here we have x squared times x cubed. Well, x squared is x times x, right? And x cubed is x times x times x. So together you're going to have 5 x's. So it would be x to the power 5, okay? So x squared times x cubed is x to the power 2 plus 3. Okay, so if we have here y to the power 5 and y to the power 6, and we multiply them, the answer would be y to the power 5 plus 6, which is y to the 11th power. Okay, so that's the product property. So when you multiply same base, you add the exponents. Then the power property is when you raise a power to another power, you take the product, you multiply the exponents. So let's say here we have y to the power 5 raised to the 9th power. So that's just going to be, y to the 5 times 9. Sorry, so y to the 45th power. And then here you have 4 to the power 4 raised to the power 7. So I'm going to multiply the exponents here, and that's going to be 4 to the power 28, the 28th power. Okay, and then what about this side here? We have b to the 7th power raised to the power 5. That's going to be b to the 35th power. 7 times 5 is 35 today. And then for the second problem, we have 5 to the power 4 times 3. So that's going to be 5 to the 12th power. Okay, what if you have a product to the power? So basically for that, you just raise each factor to that power. So for this one here, A, we have negative 9D. Well, that's just going to happen twice. So that's equivalent of saying negative 9 squared, D squared. So that's going to be 81D squared. Okay. So for B, we have here 3mn. That's going to be 3 cubed, m cubed, n cubed. So that's going to be 27 m cubed, n cubed. Okay. The next one is 5wx raised to the power 3. So that's 5 cubed w cubed x cubed. That's going to be 125 w cubed x cubed. Okay. And then the next one, negative 3 to the power 3 y cubed. So that's going to be negative 27 y cubed. Okay. All right. Let's do some. So far, what properties of exponents did we cover? The product, the power, and power product to a power. So let's use them all together. Okay, so for A here, we have, let's go ahead and do exponents first. So y to the power 3 raised to the power 6 is going to be y to the 18th. And since there's parentheses, that means times. And then you would do y to the power fifth power raised to the 4th power. That's going to be y to the 20th power, right? Because 5 times 4 is 20. So now that I'm multiplying these two, I'm going to add the exponent. So that's going to be 18 plus 20. So see how it's different, right? So raising a number, so it's going to be different than taking the power, right? I mean, taking the product. So this is y to the 38th. So just let me finish my thought here. So a squared raised to the power 3 is going to be a to the power 6. But a squared times a cubed is actually a to the 5th power. So notice they're not the same, right? This has only one base, an exponent, raised to the exponent. This is two bases, right? It's two, but they're being multiplied together, same base, okay? All right. Okay, so for B, this would be negative 6 squared, x to the 4th power squared, y to the 5th squared. So this is 36, x to the power 8, y to the power 10. Okay, let's do a couple more. This actually, I'm gonna need this. I think I'm just gonna do this one. So here, I have 5 squared, m squared times 3m cubed. So that's going to be 25 m squared times 3m cubed, and then I can multiply these together by commutativity. I'm going to write that out, times 3 times m squared times m cubed. You don't have to write it every single time, right? You just can just start using the property. So now this is m squared times m cubed. That's m to the power 5, and that's it, okay? And then for B, we have 3 to the 4th power, x squared to the 4th power, y to the 4th power, and that's multiplied by 2 to the 3rd power, x to the 3rd power, y squared to the 3rd power. So 3 to the 4th power is just 81. X squared to the 4th power is going to be x to the power 8, and then y to the 4th power, and then times 2 cubed is 8, x cubed, and then y squared cubed is y to the power 6. So then we can commute these guys because these are all technically being multiplied by each other. So you get 81 times 8 times x to the power 8, x cubed, y to the power 4, y to the power 6. So then 81 times 8, it's going to be 648. So 648. Then combine the x's, that's going to be 8 plus 3, which is 11. And then the y's, 4 plus 6 is 10. And that's it for this one. Okay, let's do a few more, I guess. These are the same thing. Same thing that we've been doing, but let's go ahead and do a couple more for funsies. So this is multiplication. So this is like saying 3 times negative 4 times x squared times x cubed. So that's going to be negative 12 x to the power 5. Okay, and then here we take the coefficients and we multiply them. So 2/3 times 12, then r to the 5th power times r to the 6th power, s times s to the 7th power. And 2/3 of 12 is 8, right? Because 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8 today. Then here you have product of two numbers, same base, different exponents. So that's going to be 11. We're going to add. When there's no exponent, it's assumed to be 1. So s times s to the power 7 is going to be s to the power 8. And that's it. So that's it for section 6.2. So good luck, happy studying, and I will see you in the next video.